Go.
Welcome into Press Box Live. I'm Stan the Fan Charles. No Luke Jackson today. In his place is Oriole Hall of Famer Ken Singleton. He joins us in just a moment. Ross Grimsley is here as always, and we're always brought to you by the Costas Inn, now with two great locations. Ken, did you know that? They're not only
Yeah.
they're at the OTB at Timonium now.
Well, they're okay. I mean, that's just down the road. I'm going to have to get down to the other one's a little further away. So
Yep.
I'm happy they got a second location.
The one difference is they don't have steamed crabs at the new location, but they've got the rest of the menu.
Well, I'll go for it.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk about that at the midway point in the program. Ken Singleton is joining us today. A lot to talk about. And Ken, first thing I wanted to talk about is, and it might not hit home to everybody, but you're a member of the Orioles Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame weekend is coming up this weekend. Friday will be the luncheon, Saturday the induction. What did it mean to you when you went into the Orioles Hall of Fame?
Well, first of all, Sam, it was a long time ago. It was 1986. It was 2 years after I had finished playing. And I think that I went in with Jim Palmer. So that was kind of an honor right in itself, going in with the greatest pitcher the Orioles ever had.
Yep.
And I remember the ceremony at Memorial Stadium on the field. They were playing the Yankees that day. It was, I think it was in July or August, but whatever it was really hot that day. And I had a tie on, which I didn't want to have on. And it just, to me, after being with the team for 10 years, I mean, this is the highest honor that the Orioles can present to a player.
Yep.
And I think it's a tribute not only to what I was able to do as a player, but it's a tribute to the teams that I played for. I played for, 10 years. Each year was a winning season that we had. Each year we were in the race. I kind of wish we had wild cards back in the day.
Yeah.
We didn't. Because we finished second 6 times. And in this day and age, you finish second, you're going to be in. You get in the big dance. We got to a couple of World Series. I got to play with a lot of tremendous players, Hall of Fame players, Hall of Fame manager and Earl. And it not only were those guys great, it was just the rest of the guys were very, very good. So, pitchers like Ross, they just knew what they were doing. You had confidence in every one of your teammates.
Kenny, how can we get Ross in the Orioles Hall of Fame?
No. You got to do something to get in there.
Does he have to buy a ticket that night?
If Earl was still around, he'd be in. He loved Ross.
I was never the number one son, though.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell me, this year's class is Adam Jones. It was a no-brainer. He was unanimous. Joe Orsulak gets in, and Tom Davis. And I know you got to have a Tom Davis story or two.
Well, Tom has been in the media in Baltimore forever, even before I got here to the Orioles. And he was the one who got me going kind of.
In the media?
He and Tom Marr. You remember Tom Marr?
Sure.
Yeah, they used to do this. I used to do this pregame radio show only on the weekends because the Orioles didn't want all my time used up, doing media before games. And I'd interview some of my teammates. We did it Saturday and Sunday. We sat out in the bullpen and did this pregame show, and it was for, I think it was called City Chevrolet. I don't even know if they're around anymore.
No, but, I don't think so.
I don't think. Yeah, well, like I said, it was a long time ago. Well, anyway, that kind of got me started in the media in a way. I wasn't really thinking about it because I was still playing. But once I stopped playing, I said, well, I had a little experience, so it kind of helped. But Tom Marr and Tom Davis, I don't think you've been you haven't been an Oriole unless you've been on his show. So
no question about it. No question about it.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
All right. And of course, Adam Jones.
Yeah.
He's kind of right where the tier you are. He's definitely clearly an Oriole Hall of Famer. He's not quite Brooks or Palmer or Eddie Murray or Cal.
Yeah.
But he's right at that next level with you, Boog, and Singy.
Well, I appreciate that because all those guys are great players. I mean,
Yeah.
Adam Jones was, he was the lead guy for many years here in Baltimore, even when the team wasn't that good. I mean, he was definitely the type of player that the other teams had to worry about. And, I'm just happy. I'm happy for Adam. I mean, he's done a lot of good things, not only on the field, but off the field in Baltimore, helping out the community. Joe Orsulak, we've played golf with Joe. I mean, he hits the ball a mile. If he could hit a baseball that far, he'd been in the real Hall of Fame. But he's in there with the Orioles, and Joe was a very good player in his day. And of course, you mentioned Tom Davis, who is a staple in the Baltimore media, and I'm very happy for Tom. I'm looking forward to hearing his speech. I don't know if the game will start on time.
It's a great class, great
Yeah.
class. Saturday night is the induction at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Ross, go ahead. I've been taking up your friend's time.
That's all right. We could talk to him forever. But I know one of the things we want to talk about, Singy, is the Yankees. I know they've had some hard times, especially in June. I think they're 18-26 this month.
Wow.
They're about 4.5 games, 3 games, 3 or 4 games, 4.5 games out, and they've had some injuries. Judge is not around. Tell us a little bit about, because I know you watched some of those games along with the Orioles. So tell us a little bit about the Yankees.
Well, they've been struggling for about a month and a half. Yeah, at one time they had a 7-game lead, maybe larger than that, and that's all disappeared. Even the Red Sox have passed them now. So they're in third place, and Toronto maybe starting to come back to the pack a little bit. They've struggled the last week or so, but they got really hot and they took over first place. It's interesting because my broadcast partner Michael Kay, when the Yankees went up to Toronto for a 4-game series, he said on the air that he doesn't think Toronto's a first place team. Well, the Blue Jays swept them in a 4-game series.
Right, they sure did.
But you talk about the injuries they've had without Judge. That makes a really and you know what? Watching them play, and I've seen them play a few times, and they're just not. And I was talking earlier, I think, with Luke. They're just not the Yankees of the old, where they're fundamentally sound.
Yeah,
they pitch, they do a lot of things, and you see a lot of stuff that are just not Yankeeist ways.
They just got through playing in Miami, and Jazz Chisholm got doubled up at first base on a pop up to second. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Never. I saw
And the catcher Wells, he goes in the second. I think it was on a walk or a ground out, and all of a sudden, he's safe at second. He's heading back to first base, and they get him out because he
didn't know
what was happening.
Yeah, so, he thought there was a third out at first.
Yeah, well, that's dumb stuff. I mean, if that happened, Earl would still be yelling at you. Oh God, you'd be in Rochester. That's stuff that just shouldn't happen. And I know that Aaron Boone's getting a little exasperated with what's going on with the team. They haven't been playing well. Their defense hasn't been that good. They've had some pitching injuries. Garrett Cole's out for the year. I mean, that really hurt them. Sure. And then Clark Schmidt, he's pitching really well, and now he's having his second Tommy John. He's gone. So they just got Luis Heel back yesterday, but he didn't look that good. I mean, it was his first start. He hadn't pitched. First time he's pitched all year. He was the rookie of the year last year. He's still throwing like 97, but it didn't look like he knew where the ball was going. So they've got their issues, and they're going to have to turn it around pretty quick here. They might not even make the playoffs, there might be more than one managerial opening as the season ends at the end of the year if this continues.
Really? Have you been watching the Red Sox? I mean, they are on fire.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like that team. So
yeah. Well, I was surprised, Devers gets traded to the Giants.
Yeah.
And they figure, and now they're 21-5 since June the 4th and 14-2 since the 20th of June. So they're on fire, and I mean, they're 3 games out of first place.
Yeah, they just got Bregman back too. So I think that at the beginning of the year I said the Red Sox are going to be tough this year, but then they got off to a slow start and I began to wonder. Then I knew, well, they were having all kinds of problems where Devers was going to play, if he was going to play. I'm not playing first. Well, they finally trade him to the Giants. They take off, and the Giants go in the dumper when they get him. I mean, they had the worst record of baseball. Now, not that he's a bad player. I mean, he can hit, but certain guys in clubhouses just don't rub everybody else the right way.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have to, the Giants took on $300 million. They're rough.
They
what kind
got
of
it,
money
buddy.
these guys making, man? $300 million
out
to
there.
ruin a clubhouse.
They have no bills.
But Kenny, what do you think of the way Breslow handled that? In other words, how can you have a guy that just a year ago you signed to that kind of contract,
Yeah.
and then you make an acquisition that's going to impact him, and you don't discuss it with him beforehand? You make the acquisition first?
Yeah, that's not the way it should be done. There's got to be a level of communication on your team. I'll give you an example, and this happened years ago. 1982. I know you remember, Stan. We lost on the last day of the season and didn't go to the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, during that winter, Reggie Jackson was a free agent, and Hank Peters, our general manager, called me and said, "We got a chance to sign Reggie. You think we need Reggie?" And I said, "Well, Hank, we got a good team. I'm not sure if we need Reggie on the team. He's a great player and all that." Well, I get to spring training and I'm running in the outfield, and here comes Eddie Murray, and Eddie says to me, "Hey, Singy, Hank Peters called me this winter." I said, "What was it about?" He says, "It's about Reggie." I said, "Well, what'd you tell him?" He said, "Well, I told him we didn't need Reggie. I think we're good enough as it is." So a couple days later, I'm running in the outfield again in spring training. Here comes Palmer. He says, "Singy, Hank Peters called me this winter." I said, "Was it about Reggie?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, this is the type of communication I'm talking about."
Yeah.
I said, "Was it about Reggie?" He said, "Yeah." "How did you know?" He said, "Well, he called me and he called Eddie too." So Hank Peters asked his best players
Yep.
what they thought about obtaining Reggie Jackson for a second time. He'd already been with the Orioles once.
Right.
And all of us kind of hemmed and hawed, and he didn't do it.
Yep.
All right. So 83, what happens?
Yeah.
World Series.
That's a great story.
The celebration in the clubhouse in Philadelphia, I sneak up behind Hank Peters with a bottle of champagne, and I poured over his head, and I said, "I told you we didn't need Reggie."
Great.
Yeah, he started laughing.
That's a great story.
But
Story.
it's true. I mean, you had why ruffle feathers? Why
we were already a good team.
Exactly. You had the players that you needed, just like Oakland back in the 70s when they were winning. They quarreled, but you know what? They played together. They knew what each guy had to do, and that is so important. And that's something that you don't think you see that much now because people don't dive in. They use the analytics so much that they don't get to know and learn about the players and what it means to the team and stuff. So,
hey, Kenny, can you talk about the other part of the story when you went to Hank Peters and said, "We need Ross Grimsley"?
Did
that happen?
Ross is in Montreal learning French by that
time. Hey, Kenny, I wanted to ask you because I wrote a piece over the last week that'll be in print next week when the new issue of Press Box comes out. And it was about 6 managerial candidates for the Oriole job. And one of them is a good friend of Ross Grimsley. He's one of the smartest baseball people I've ever met, is Shane Turner. And I don't think he has a real shot at it because I don't think Mike Elias even knows who he is. But I do want to ask you about one of the candidates. You were around Mattingly a good bit up in New York. He's managed the Dodgers. He's managed the Marlins. He's, in his early 60s. You think he'd be a good candidate here?
I do think so. And one reason is because he's got some cachet. I mean, baseball player, a near Hall of Famer. If his back didn't go out, I think he would be in the Hall of Fame.
No question about it.
But I think that, even young players get the most out of them. You have to have somebody in there, respect that somebody who's done it before. Understand what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody look at Don Maddox. Woo, this guy he hit 6 grand slams in 1 year, or 8 grand slams in 1 year, something like that. Those are the only years he hit grand slams. All of them came in 1 year. So I just think that it's very rare, and that you get somebody like Earl Weaver, who never played in the big leagues. I think players nowadays, they have a lot of respect for guys who've been there and done that, especially guys who have been to the World Series. I think one of the problems with baseball nowadays, I don't know if Ross agrees with me, is that when you look up and down minor league rosters and even big league rosters of coaches, some of them didn't even have big league experience. And to me, how are you going to teach a kid what it's like to be in the big leagues if you've never been there yourself? And one of the issues is, and this is a good thing for players, is that players nowadays are making so much money.
Oh,
We got a problem with Singy's phone. Singy, if you can.
I think that kind of hurts the number of people who've had big league experience who are now coaching and managing in the big leagues.
All right. Hey, let me take a timeout. Ken, during the timeout, can you sign back in again? We had a problem where you were freezing up.
Okay.
Do you mind doing that? And I'll do the commercial for the Constant Sin.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right. While Ken Singleton re-signs on, Ross Grimsley and I are both going to raise our thumbs.
Because only 4 thumbs up tonight.
It's only 4 thumbs up. Although Ken would throw 2 thumbs up for the Costa Sin. 2 great locations for the Costa Sin. The Costa Sin located at 4100 North Point Boulevard and at the Grandstand. And Ross, it was one of the last times I saw you in Baltimore, was up there when it was Knicks. Remember we met up there? Yeah, that's where the Costa Sin now, at the Timonium, just next door to the OTB and the Grandstand. Really easy parking in the front and the back, and it's no charge for parking, of course. Hold on, I got to let Kenny in. And they've got the same great menu. The one difference is that they do not have crabs at the new location. If you want your steamed crabs, still got them at 4100 North Point Boulevard. That's the Costa Sin, one of our favorite places in town. And Ken, we do a thing on this show where we ask all the people that like the Costa Sin to give them 2 thumbs up. Can we get you to do that?
Here's one.
There's one.
There's
the other. All right. We got all 6 thumbs.
A great place. I went over there when I was up for the tournament. When I was upright, I got a chance to go over there.
I'm glad you're doing better and out on the golf course again, Ross.
I got my orthopedic surgeon appointment next week. So trying to see what kind of damage I did to my leg.
Your knee?
Your knee, yeah.
Oh, he'll have you running marathons.
Oh, you're great.
How did the event go this year?
I think we raised more money than we've ever raised. So
it's still for the cool kids?
Yes. It was fantastic. Really good event. We've got another one coming up in Naples, Florida in October that I hope Ross can get down to. I mean, he can.
And we're getting yes, sir.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Bonita Bay Country Club. Ross, when do you see this place? Unbelievable.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Kenny, is it true that without Ross Grimsley showing up at the Cool Kids, the golf tournament that you do, that it would be a nothing event without Ross Grimsley?
It would be less entertaining.
I'll bet it would be. Who was there?
We have a good time
this year. Who was there this year?
Was it
that we'd know?
a local Oriole, and they were there.
Yeah.
We had Tippy was there, Dave Johnson. Let's see, Tim Nordbrook. We had
Dennis.
Mike Eruzione, the hockey player.
The
We
hockey
had Pierre
player was there.
LaRouche, the hockey player.
Yeah.
I don't have the list in front of me, but it was many more people. I'm leaving people out.
Dennis Martinez was there.
Yeah, Dennis
Dennis
was there. Dennis
Yes.
with one of his sons came up with him. Usually, all three of them come, but only one came this year. Dennis will be at the one in Florida in October.
How's he doing? How's his health? Good.
Oh, he was great. He was good.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Golf games got a lot better. He can play. That's what happens when you live in Florida. You can play.
Hey, Kenny,
Yeah.
we're still having trouble with your signal. We're almost out of time anyway. I wanted to ask you, how do you see you've announced, for close to 20 years up in New York, maybe longer. You played 15, 17 years in the big leagues. How do you feel about the impending ABS system that they're proposing?
Yeah, that's 15 years playing, 37 years broadcasting.
37 years. Geez,
Yeah,
okay.
the last 25 with the Yankees. You know what? I'm kind of in favor of it because there've been so many pitches that have been missed. I think I read something at the All-Star break that home plate umpires missed 15,000 pitches in the first half of the year. Now
15,000?
15,000 pitches they missed. Some of them missed 20, 25 a game. And to me, a game can turn on one pitch. And that bat can turn on one pitch.
I totally agree with you. So here's my question.
Uh-huh.
You get roughly 300 pitches a game, right? Maybe more. Okay, 275 to 3.25.
Yeah.
Why only 2 challenges? Why not just let the umpire get it in his ear what was called, and let's move on? I mean, why?
Here's the deal. First of all, they're trying to speed the games up.
Yep.
Number one, I don't know how much time that would add, and number two, this ABS system seems to be pretty quick. They used it in spring training.
Yep.
They used it in the minor leagues, and it seems to be pretty. My only deal with it is who's running that ABS system? Who's running it? So that's my only issue with it.
I just think the 2 challenges is not enough of an impact on the game.
Yeah, I think you're right too, Stan. But
the games will last forever.
I don't want these games going back to being 4 hours long.
So here's my point. It takes no time for the umpire to get the signal. It's like that. So he just calls it like he was calling it. It's a strike or a ball. It is quick, but it would take no time to have the balls and strikes called electronically.
Yeah, and I think you're right. One thing I think I've seen is that we've seen a lot of reversals on the bases with plays, and it's almost as if the umpires say, "Well, if I get this right, or if I don't get it right, they can fix it." You know what? That can't happen at home plate with pitches. That's done. So I hopefully they can get it right, and however they want to do it, just as long as the balls and strikes are called correctly. And I've had bad calls on me back in the day, but now they have the ways of fixing it. So I just hope that this ABS system works.
Well, you had one of the best eyes in the game. I mean, you weren't Ted Williams, but you had one of the greatest eyes. I'll tell you one thing. If Adam Jones had your eye at the plate and could discern balls and strikes better, and swing at more strikes, he'd be in the Hall of Fame, not the Oriole Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He used to chase that low and away slider and out of the zone.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to broadcast the games, and there's somebody throw him one and you swing at it. I said, well, he's going to get another one right here, and he'd swing at it again. So you're right though. But Adam was a heck of a player, but you're right. He could have been a little bit better if he could, tell the balls and strikes, especially one down and away.
Ross, you got a last question or two for Kenny?
Yes, I
and then we'll let
do.
him get
I
out of
got
here.
one. I can get Kenny's idea. What the collective bargaining agreement is
Oh,
going to run out here shortly.
yeah.
And some of the issues, expanding the playoffs to 14 teams and play. That means you got to cut the season down if you do that. Then you got the salary cap. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on this?
Okay. First of all, I don't know how many owners want to cut down the number of games, but you don't want to be playing on Christmas either. You know what I mean? So I just think that I don't know what they're going to do. As far as salary cap, they've already got arguments going about that. So I can see a lockout coming. I can see that coming. I mean, I think the issues we had back in the day have all been resolved, like free agency and arbitration, all that stuff. But salary cap was one thing they tried with us too, and they did. And what happened? We didn't play. We just said, "Nah,
Right.
that's not going to work. We're not going to play." So I think that if push comes to shove, the players aren't going to play, or the owners are going to lock them out, one or the other. And unfortunately, that I can see that on the horizon. It won't be good for the game because the game is as popular as it's ever been. I mean, the TV rights are way up there. Each team is making money, although some owners don't want to spend it.
Exactly.
As far as the salary cap, I'm not so concerned with this. They should have a salary floor where teams like Pittsburgh and Miami and Tampa, they have to pay their players a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And that way,
from revenue sharing, the money they get from revenue sharing, they need to invest
it has to
in
be
the teams,
fed
and they're
back
not
into
doing
payroll.
that.
Yeah.
No, they just put it in their pockets, and then the Pittsburgh fans, why they haven't been to the World Series since 1970.
Exactly.
Yeah, 79, or even making the playoffs. Because the owner keeps the money. If you set a salary floor, I don't know how far below what it would be, but I know the Pirates are below it. So whatever. Yeah, so they just got to get these teams to be more competitive, and it's good for their fans.
I mean,
one more question I got,
the product,
real quick,
the product the Rockies are putting out is an absolute disgrace.
Oh, yes. Exactly, Stan. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Go ahead, Ross. I didn't mean to interrupt.
One more question. With the rule changes. Now, one of the rule changes they're going to use in spring training, or so they've said next year, is the golden batter.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Never going to fly. Never going to fly.
No, I hope that doesn't fly.
Really?
Because you're gonna tick guys off on your own team. You got a chance to make some money here, and you're going to send up Aaron Judge instead. Okay, I can understand that. Manager would love to have him up there in the ninth inning with the bases loaded and one out or nobody out. Yeah, but it's not his turn. So with what you got.
Really?
Hey, Kenny,
that's a Savannah banana thing.
Boy, that is some phenomenon going on with the Savannah Bananas. Have you watched any of that, Ken?
I know they sold out at Camden Yards 2 games
2 nights in a row. They're coming to Yankee Stadium.
Really?
Week, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Jimmy's grandson was the left field umpire and the third base umpire the next night.
Yeah, he told me that Nicholas was going to be an umpire.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever watched a game to see the umpire.
I didn't even know it was on TV.
Yeah. They were on ESPN both nights.
I'll have to catch one in the future. I know it's pretty entertaining, and they seem to have a lot of fun. And they do things that contemporary real games aren't going to do. But just as long as the fans are entertained, and I think that's what they're out for, to entertain.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Kenny, we Ross and I appreciate your coming on with us. Always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Anytime.
And, it's great to talk to you. Okay?
Ross, I'll see you. I might be down that way in November.
Let us know.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, take care, guys.
Thanks to Ken Singleton. For Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan. Luke should be back with us next week. We hope you enjoy your week ahead, and we'll talk to you real soon. O's in Philadelphia tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday afternoon before returning home to play the A's. Can't even call them the Sacramento A's. They're just the A's.
Yeah.
All right. Stay well, Ross. I'll talk to you soon.
All
Give
right,
my
buddy.
love to Bird. All right.
I will.
Bye.
Bye-bye.